Rev up your engines. Okay, today we have an electric Volvo, an all-electric. If you remember, Volvo said they're going to make nothing but electric and hybrid electric cars in the future. Well, here's an actual one. How much does it cost? Well, the owner's smart. He didn't buy it. He's leasing it. Now, his lease was $2,000 down and $647 a month. Not a cheap lease, but he didn't buy it. He understands modern technology, and this lease is based on only 10,000 miles a year. If you're going to buy one of these things, you're 60-something grand and up when it comes to destination charges, everything. They're expensive vehicles. But I'm not going to get into politics of electric cars because, I mean, 60% of the electricity in the United States is generated by burning petrochemicals. Let's just forget all that. Forget that there's no infrastructure. But can you get a car like this? Can you drive it far? And is it going to hold up? Now, it's a beautiful looking car. And guess what? This particular one is made in Belgium. Look at that. Which to me is a gigantic plus because many of the Volvos these days are made in China. The hybrid version of this particular type of car, they start at $36,000. They're not that expensive. Now, let's get on to brass tacks. He said if he drives conservatively, he gets about 190 miles of range on the highway. Realize, of course, if you turn the AC on real high and stuff, drive a little faster, it'll go down quite a bit. But it has a reasonable sized battery. It's not a little tiny battery. That's the real range that he gets. About 190 miles. As it stands today, they only sell the dual motor one in the United States. With the dual motors, it goes 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Not bad for an SUV. I mean, come on now, you know? It's a fast vehicle. Electric motors are always that way. Instant torque as soon as you start them up. And of course, this is basically an all-new design. It's 100% electric. This is the first pure all-electric car Volvo ever sold. Now, the other day, I had an old Volvo station wagon here. The dude had 326,000 miles on it. He paid $1,500 for it when it had 100,000. So 220,000 miles for a $1,500 car. Let's see, that's less than 3 monthly payments on this thing. Will these things last that long? No one is going to know until they've been out. That's probably one of the reasons this guy is leasing it and just, well, I know what I'm paying and that's what I'm getting. And he's not going to have to worry about what is coming to be the absolute truth now. The resale value of electric cars is starting to plummet. I can find scores of used electric vehicles around here now dirt cheap. It used to be the Teslas were selling for more used than they were new because you couldn't get a new one. Not anymore. The price of the used one's gone. So leasing one is probably not only smart because it's unknown technology, but because you're going to take one heck of a beating if you decide, gee, I really don't like this electric car. I want to get something else. You want to test out electric cars, do like this guy did. Lease them. You don't have to lease an expensive one like this. You can get cheaper ones, but lease them. Then you'll get a much better idea, and the only thing you're going to lose is the money you paid in for the lease. In this case, it's a 3-year lease. So you're tied in for 3 years. You know what you're paying. And if you run a business, of course, it's a tax write-off, even better. But let's get in this thing. See what it looks like. Here we go. Doesn't want to let me in. It doesn't like me. It knows the bad things I say about electric cars. Here we go. Now, there's a very nice wool blend seat. The thing looks comfy. There's an actual handmade crystal shifter. Now, that's class. Beautiful panoramic sunroof. I love the black and silver, and as you can see, it's got an immaculate Harman Kardon stereo system. I mean, this baby is decked out. Got a real nice map center. AC's adjustable all over the place. Really cool louvers. I really like that. It's a good company, because check it out. They got an OBD port right here, just like a regular car. Got a nice armrest. I love this black interior and chrome. You got your map here. We're backing up. It's got nice wide angle camera so you can see everything. And anytime you want the camera, you just have to push the camera button. You can do a 360 view too if you want. There's the 360 view. You can see everything around you. Hey, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's like you're looking at it from a little drone up in the air. I gotta say, that's pretty good software. And while we're waiting, it just beeped because a truck went behind us. It warned us there was something behind us, not to back up. So let's take it for a spin, see what it does. You put it in reverse. Got a real nice backup camera. You can really see what you're doing. If you're worried, you can do a 360. Look at that. You really have an idea. Look, it's got 4 different cameras. Now that is really cool. So let's take it for a spin. It is quiet. The only thing I hear is the air conditioner fan. Extremely smooth. Of course, it's warning us because I was a bad boy. I didn't put my seatbelt on yet. It's going to warn you. They still got seatbelts in them. They're not will stop screaming at me. And as usual, it shows the speed limit here is 25 miles an hour. And as usual, just like a Tesla, you take your foot off the gas, it'll come to a complete stop. My foot's off the accelerator because it is regenerating electricity. They have to do everything they can in these to get more mileage. And as we take a corner, man, this thing is smooth to drive. They're so quiet. I mean, the only thing on here is the tires rolling down the road and the fan blowing on the air conditioner. And it is fun to drive. The suspension system is much better than the Teslas, I'll tell you that. You foot off the gas and it stops even before you get to the stop sign. Well, it's electric cars. You got to get used to that. Gives a new meaning to a California stop. You got to keep your foot on the gas. You take it off, car will stop itself. Let's see what this Belgian-made Volvo can do when we get to our little drag strip. It does have 2 electric motors. It's supposed to be really fast. Well, it's a lot faster than that tractor, that's for sure. All right, we get to our drag strip here. Good, it's completely empty. There's no one behind us. Let's floor it and see what this thing does. Whoa! Takes off like a rocket ship. Zoom! We're going 78 already. Yes, this thing is extremely fast. There is no arguing that. Let's say you want to pass somebody. You're going 50, let's floor it. Whoa, there we go. Now we're going 70. Now we're going 75. This thing is a speed demon. It is fun to drive. Forget about people in Volvos. Oh, those Volvos are just turds. They don't get out of the road. They're so slow. They're like hippie mobiles. No, this thing is a rocket ship. Way away we go. And with this little sporty steering wheel, hey, man, this thing is fun to drive. Yeah! Here we come up on a corner. Gee, we're supposed to be going 20. We're doing 60. We'll even go faster. Man, this thing is a load of fun. Does it handle? Whee! Through the curb we go. Outside, it's got that goofy little sound. It's a very light sound. It doesn't make much noise. You don't hear much. You gotta watch out for these Volvo electric cars. They don't make much noise. By law, they have to make a noise, but it's so quiet you can barely hear it. Bundle along, you wanna go faster? Whee! Here we go, baby, here we go. Man, this thing's fun. I do have to say, as I get older, I try to control myself more, but I don't know if I'd be able to control myself driving this car. I just don't know. Shows you your range, shows you the state of charge, shows you everything. And of course, you can hit a lot more when you want by pushing buttons. So the old, oh, you're driving a boring, conservative, square Volvo box down the road. Well, let's say, people, those days are long gone. This thing's more akin to an airplane than it is a car. And I do have to say, unlike the Teslas, this feels like a car. Look, Volvo was smart. It's got a gear shifter on it, like a real car. They didn't make this look like something out of some science fiction book. It looks like a car inside. I gotta say, I've never had so much fun in a Volvo in all my days. This is insane. It's whisper quiet. It handles like a dream. The only noise I hear is his luggage and stuff in the trunk moving around because I'm driving too fast. It doesn't rattle like a Tesla. The body lines all are neat and lined up. The Belgians do a pretty good job. You know, they're practically Germans, you know, so they're pretty anal about building their cars. It's insanely fast. Now, he says on the highway drives conservative, you get 190 miles. Well, the way I was driving it, I don't know, you probably get 90 miles or something if you're driving a lunatic, but it handles insanely. It's insanely fast. The only downside, of course, is I'm too cheap to spend 600 something bucks a month to lease a car. I bought cars for $300, right? I'm not gonna spend 600 something a month leasing a car. But if you want to spend that kind of money, I'll tell you right now, get your hands on one of these things and you'll have a riot. Plus, if you're leasing it, guess what? If they do have problems and the battery goes bad, hey, they gotta fix it for free. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. I have no idea that this thing will be around like that old 28-year-old Volvo station wagon with 326,000 miles. Maybe it'll have to have battery packs replaced. I don't know. The Volvo was still on its original engine, right? It was on its second transmission, but the first transmission went 300,000 miles, so you can't complain about that. But I have to say, this thing was designed by people who know what they're doing. Now realize the Chinese own Volvo, but this was built in Belgium. This wasn't built in China. I'd much rather have something made in Europe and Belgium. I gotta say, it's well designed. I can't really complain about anything of the car except the price and the fact that don't pretend you're being green, because 60% of electricity comes from burning petrochemicals. You're still polluting the atmosphere. It's just indirectly. But for something fun to drive, if this is in your price range, I'll tell you, this should be the first thing you should road test. If you want to spend that kind of money and you want to try out an electric car, this thing is literally insane. And you know what I think about electric cars, right? This is the most impressive one I've ever been in. It's the whole package. It's not just a Tesla Model S, and yeah, it's super fast, but it's not built all that well. Rattles, pieces aren't even bolted on correctly. This is the real deal of electric cars. And being a Volvo, hey, you go by their past record, they got a pretty good record of building cars that last a long time. But like I said, this guy's smart. He's leasing it for 3 years. He didn't buy it. Maybe at the end of 3 years he'll buy it. We'll find out 3 years from now, yeah? But as it stands today, if you're willing to spend this kind of money and you want to mess with electric cars, hey, get yourself one of these things. I don't see any negatives on this particular car other than the price and the fact that it's a brand new electric model. Nobody knows how they're going to hold up, but I mean, Volvo's got a pretty good track record with vehicles that last a long time. If I was going to get an electric car and somebody else was paying for it, I'd jump right in one of these. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.